Hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmie, Emmie Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So let me just fix this. I don't like how it feels like this. Makes me feel like something's going to poke my throat. There we go. All right. So I'm going to be doing a reading for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, also for your cross watchers, also for those of us who find ourselves on this video without any Piscean anything. You're probably an empath and you're probably needing messages from your soul. Okay. So let's get started. I asked what this reading was going to be about, and what I heard, reaching a point of realizing how much you mean. Someone is realizing, they're reaching a point where they are realizing how much you mean, like maybe how much you mean to them, maybe not. I don't know. Let me move my little heater. I got a little tiny heater. Let me just scoot it over. There we go. There. Okay. So someone's realizing something, and whatever it is they're realizing, it's creating some sort of like cathartic moment. Catharsis. That's what they're experiencing. Let me just shuffle the cards. Pull a stack. Pull a stack. You know, I think I won't use that deck today. I think I'll use. I'll use this one. Pull a couple from here. Pull a couple from here. And then this. All right, let's get started. Okay, gentleness. So, with the first card being drawn, as a reminder to be gentle, I guess we have to remember to be gentle as we explore whatever this is and whoever this is for you. Okay. Maybe things had happened. Well, I don't like feeling like I'm making excuses for someone. I don't like feeling like that. So let me just take a moment to reassess. Maybe something had happened to disappoint you, and that's not necessarily because someone is mean to you. Sometimes we have to take accountability if our disappointment comes from our preconceived notions or expectations that aren't aligned with the reality of what's going on. Okay? So kind of just asking you to take a moment to consider, to just consider what actually happened. Divine timing. For some, it was not the proper time to connect in that way. Okay. In whatever way it was, whether it's business, whether it's friendship, whether it's just meeting up with someone. It's almost this sense of excuse me. It's almost this sense of like, I don't even want to say it. Oh my God. For some of you, there's going to be continued opportunities to cross paths for some. For others of you, it just was maybe not meant to be in this lifetime. Maybe not even as friends. I mean, we don't really know. We don't really know. We don't really know what it is that's causing us to feel some sort of way. I mean, have you paused and allowed yourself to recognize what it is that's causing you to feel in some sort of way? Have you allowed yourself to really get to know where these feelings are coming from? Like feelings of disappointment, feelings of betrayal, of, all sorts of things. I'm wondering if part of what's going on is that we are allowing previous trauma to be the very paint that we use to color this situation. What do I mean by that? So, say several years before you met this person, you were super romantic relationships are such an easy example. So several years ago, you were super duper in love with this person, not the person this reading is about, but you were in love with someone, and that person betrayed your trust. They cheated on you, yada, yada, yada. It ended, whoop-de-doo, that's that. Now someone else comes across your path, and this is someone that you feel very connected to. This is someone that seems to get you to such a deep degree. And now you're kind of like, oh my God, is this person going to do that to me too? Like they're going to do that to me too. That like this is going to be so much worse. They're going to do that to me. They're going to do that to me. They're going to do that to me. And you keep telling yourself that to the degree that it causes a level of concern, aka paranoia, that causes that connection to kind of fall apart. Did things fall apart between the two of you? And because it fell apart and you have that history, is it now this thing of, I bet you they were lying to me the whole time. I bet you they never actually liked me like that. I bet you they were using me. I bet you this. I bet you that. I bet you. I bet you. I bet you. And I mean, sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it's our own traumas, our own personal history that's caused us to be very, very, very sensitive to these types of potentialities. That's how I use the word potentiality. Is it a reality? First four letters, REAL, real. Is it a reality or is it a potentiality? First part of that word, the root is potential. If you don't know for sure, why are you telling yourself that that's exactly what happened? And you know for a fact, beating yourself up like, I can't believe I let this happen again. And yada, yada, yada. And, we can't control other people. If you're going to live your life bringing previous traumas into new situations, you're going to be very disappointed with the way your life goes. I promise you, you're going to be very, very disappointed because of the fact that that trauma is never allowed to heal. It gives me visual, like you enter into a new situation and you're getting to know someone, and it's like, you see this right here, this is where this past person cut me like this, and it's like, whoa, why did you just do that? Well, because that's what you were going to do. What? um how do you know that that's what they were going to do? So it has a lot to do with the way we allow the traumas to come forward. So that's the first part of the message. Knowing some of what that root causation is, what some of the reasoning behind why you behave and process life the way you do. And it's not to say there's something wrong with you. It's to say that sometimes this is how you react or respond to people in your life. Realizing this gives you the opportunity to now begin making changes to it. You have to give yourself the freedom to move away from that expired situation. When the situation is done, let it be done. Let it stay done. Let it be completely finished and leave it where it is. There's no need to continue to bring this into the current, okay? Have patience with yourself. Have patience with yourself. PTSD doesn't have to be a heavy diagnosis. I just got diagnosed with PTSD as well. It doesn't have to be. Part of the thing, and maybe that's why this topic is coming up. Part of what people need to work on when they're dealing with PTSD type situations, it's about really allowing yourself to not see things as an all or nothing and then exaggerate whichever you choose. The distortions in thinking and perceiving because you've had to survive so much. Leave that situation where it is and begin processing who you've become because of what you lived through. Not because you're weak, not because you're a victim, not because any of that, but because you lived through basically a war zone. If you've been living through a war zone, that takes time. It takes time to get the brain back to a baseline. It takes time. So my PTSD is pretty bad. My psychiatrist is former military, and she deals with combat vets who come home from war, not just serving overseas, but they come home from war, actual war. And yeah, she says, based on my presentation, I have PTSD akin to combat vets. It's comparable. It's comparable to what people experience when they actually go to full-on war. Is it a heavy diagnosis, though? It's only as heavy as I make it. It's only as heavy as I'm going to allow it to be. And how do I decide how heavy that is? That load is only as heavy as my resistance to my self-healing is. And that's it. The more I resist the process, and I can't speak for everyone else, but the more I resist the process, the heavier it will be. The more I don't consider proper mechanics, ergonomics, how I carry that load, the more likely it's going to injure me. And I'm realizing a lot of the way I view is what's affecting me. It's what's really, really affecting me. So my doctor gave me all of this homework. I'm like, I'm good with homework. It's just tell me what you want. And he goes, you actually need to I'm gonna give you homework. I was like, okay, I could do homework. We could do homework. So there's a lot of cognitive distortions, right? For example, magnification, minimization, exaggerating or minimizing the importance of events. One might believe their own achievements are unimportant or their mistakes are excessively important. I had to highlight that. I legit had to highlight that. And I was like, girl, you do this all the time. And then the next line, overgeneralization, broad interpretations from single or few events. Quote, I felt awkward during my job interview. I am always so awkward. Do I always do this? No, I don't always do that. I don't always accuse myself of always this or always that. I'm not always anything. And then comes the realization that, I might even be in a fluctuations. How many people have commented that I'm able to bring people from one end of the spectrum for emotions all the way through to the other end? And it's like the way we see ourselves greatly affects the way other people see us, greatly affects the way other people treat us. And it's not that that's what you deserve and that's what you get and you did that. It's that when we begin to see the way we see ourselves affects the way we ask other people to see us, we'll begin to understand that that is actually the first part of how we establish these very toxic connections with others. Very, very toxic connections. There were a few other things that I was just like, oh Lord. Oh Lord. Oh me, oh my. Oh Lord. I did not realize I do all of this. Oh, this is a good one. My eyes just caught it. Guilt or shame. You feel that you failed to live up to your own moral standards. Guilt results from self-condemnation, whereas shame involves fear that you'll lose face when others find out about who you really are. How can others find out who you really are if you don't even know who that is? And you've lived your entire life burying the truth because the truth is what? Scary? Bad? As though no one else in this world has experienced periods of poor decision making that ends up gifting them the opportunity to learn at a much higher degree of learning. Mistakes are beautiful. I don't intentionally try and make mistakes, but they're beautiful because that's what they do for me every single time. Every single time there's a difficulty or a struggle, every single time there's a mistake or a poor decision, I learn so much. So maybe we can begin shifting that into this place of like, I'm an avid learner. I learn hands-on. And because my brain deals with complexity so easily, simplicity is extremely difficult. That's not a mark of my weakness. That's an indication of my elevated intelligence. So sometimes I will rehash simple things over and over and over because it's hard for me to understand why people do these things that they do. Do we have to understand it, or do we have to just know it is what it is and make a decision of whether we want that in our life or not? Do you want it in your life? Is it something so painful that it's caused you to fragment, to fracture into different aspects of yourself just so you can survive that? So you can survive one more night, one more day, one more week, one more month? How much of your life and your growth have you suspended in order for you to successfully survive the situation that you're in? Now, being in a survival state is not necessarily a bad thing. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Again, it's not necessarily a sign of weakness. But there comes a point in everyone's journey where they have to just be very, very blunt I don't want to just survive. I want to thrive. I want to be happy. I want to feel successful, whatever it is I'm doing. And it doesn't matter the amount of money that's involved. I want to be successful with my self healing, with my recognition of who I am and where I'm at in my journey. And that recognition not being used to shame or guilt me. Like, oh my God, it's taken me so long. Oh my God, I'm not where I'm at yet. I'm not where I'm supposed to be at. I should have been blah, blah, blah by now. Should you have been? Or is this more a thing of like, that's what you thought? But what you thought, was that aligned with the reality of where you're at, who you are? I had a profound conversation. I always have profound conversations in my sessions, and they get my thought processes going. And more recently, there was this really profound self-realization, actually, where it's like, many of us go through this thing of like, oh God, I just figured something out. My soul finally brought me onto this path. And now I'm realizing, like, why could my soul not have just told me this X amount of years ago? Why, why wait till now? And my realization is this: X amount of years ago, I wasn't ready to accept the gravity of this, that I was built, custom built for this purpose. And it's taken me X amount of years to come to the realization and acceptance that this is what I was made for. If you had asked me, God, 5 or 6 years ago, if I would be speaking in the way that I do on live streams, that I would be talking about hard hitting truths. No, are you crazy? You can't say that kind of stuff. Oh my gosh, people will be so offended. I would literally tell you that. No, oh my goodness, no, people might take it the wrong way. They might think that, like, oh my God, and then people will think like I'm totally full of myself. Like, I would never. No, I wouldn't. You want me to live stream? Like, who would even listen? Like, why would they listen? I mean, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. I don't have any degrees or anything like that. I don't have any certificates. I haven't finished any programs. Like, no, I totally no, no, you're lying. That would never happen. And yet here I am. Here I am. 5 or 6 years later. Every year, my understanding and acceptance of my need to be as open as I am comfortable with increases. Every year it increases. Every year it increases. Every struggle, every struggle, every single time I went through this cycle of like uncertainty, of questioning the value of what I do. And I still question. I do. It's not for a lack of confidence or self love or, self respect or all these other things that the positive people shame you for not having. I have more of that. So you need more of that. It's not any of those things. It's just not. It's this thing of, on some level, I understand the gravity of what I'm here to do. And that's still mind boggling. Like you're getting right. You're kidding, right? Like, you really? What? That's crazy. I don't. I don't know. Maybe in a few years it won't be crazy, but like right now, that's crazy. How could that ever happen? And do we need to know how something happens before it's allowed to happen? Do we need to? Or do we just want to? Because want and need is not always aligned. And your soul always gives you what you need over what you want. So going back to whoever this person is, transition is down. I don't know why I thought that was funny. The transition card is upside down. This tells me this person or you feel stuck. You haven't transitioned into a new way of being, into a new form of yourself. You're stuck in the chrysalis, the cocoon. Are you just not time? Because right, patience, and then divine timing. So divine timing, patience, and not having been able to transition yet. I gotcha. I gotcha. Sorry. Card almost fell. We're still needing to examine the shadow self. Shadow work is scary for most people. It's scary for most people. You should be scared. These are all the things about you that you haven't gotten to know yet. These are all the uncertainties. And I don't know. I'm having this kind of like introspection and my perception on the people who are like, I'm not scared. I'm not scared of nothing. Are you really not scared of anything? Or have you been so scared so early in your life that you learned to turn that feeling off? Have you lived through so much as a small child that you've conditioned yourself to not acknowledge the fear? And it's not to say that you're faking, it's not to say that you're lying, it's to say that fear exists for a reason. And we all experience it to some varying degree of intensity, depending on how we've conditioned ourselves to respond to our environment. It's like the gag reflex. Some of us have such a pronounced gag reflex. Others of us, it's not as common, but we don't have a gag reflex. And then there's me. Well, where are you putting it? What part of my mouth is it touching? Because if you touch certain areas, I have been able to condition myself to not gag. But if you touch other areas, I will immediately gag. So what is it? Depends on the positioning. It depends on the positioning. I know this because of brushing my tongue. Y'all with dirty minds. I know this because of brushing my tongue. There's certain areas that will trigger certain responses. And how does this apply to what we're talking about? Depends what part of your heart is stimulated. Is it the part that's already been injured? Because then it'll be like an emotional gag reflex. It's I heard you, Lisa. I heard you, Lisa. No, I'm joking. I did hear you, but I'm not trying to shame you. So what I've learned is when I flatten my tongue all the way, that creates a surface that has some sort of resistance to me brushing all the way in the back of my tongue. I won't gag. But when I have zero resistance to me brushing my tongue, I mean, even at the front of my tongue, there's a gag reflex. There's a reflex that's happening. Okay. So it has a lot to do with how you react, the positioning of the stimulation. Are the injured parts of you, the parts of you that you're trying to protect, is that what this situation is triggering? Because if it is, then what ends up happening is you probably will push it away, will reject it. Enchantment, and then innocence. Someone is mentally accusing you of enchanting them, but you're innocent of this. I don't know. This message is so specific. Like, I've had so many people like, oh, I think Emmie cast a spell on me to make me obsessed with her, and no, that's all you. That's all you. No one had to do anything. You have an obsessive personality. Yeah. No one did anything to you. It's all you. I promise. I didn't waste any of my bruja flora for you. I didn't even know you existed. That was all literally you. I'm just saying. Yeah, no. Emmie did this. What did I do exactly? Tell me. Tell me. Please explain to me. Let a mofo know. Let a mofo know. What did I do? I went to TikTok and I wrote your name 3 times on paper. Yeah, it's some botched hoodoo. No, I did what, Santeria on you? What? Okay, sure. If that makes you feel better with your obsession, I'm just. Oh, Michael, Michaela, Ella, hey. Mika is out of hand today. He's like, it's the twin flame thing. Let me collect myself. Y'all ever seen this? Gajak Tilgud Kasta. I mean, it has sesame, jaggery, and sugar. I just gotta change the subject for a second. This is some good shit, you guys. It's good stuff. I just have to change the subject for a second. And he whispered it because he didn't want to trigger me. It's the twin flame topic. Michaela. Let me stop. Okay. We've stopped. We just gotta breathe this out. We gotta breathe this out. You know, he says, brush my hair. I'll brush it. Okay, my hair's tangled AF. It's tangled AF. We'll just brush it. Whew. There we go. Ooh, good. I like that. I'll keep the brush here. Card number 30, the perfection of your life. Someone tried to set fire to your world, not realizing they set it on the wrong side. That's a side that goes towards your past. This is your future. You're leaving that behind. Leave that alone. Don't allow yourself to be too concerned with that. Okay. Don't allow yourself to be too concerned with that for most people. Now, there's going to be a few people where you might need to concern yourself with that. There's a few. Don't worry. You'll know if it's you. Okay. You'll know if it's you because you'll totally. Oh my God. I just pulled my hair out. You'll totally be like, oh my God, what do you mean? Don't worry about it. What do you mean? Okay, well, then worry about it. Shit, don't let someone stop you from worrying if that's what you feel you need to do. You know, that's one of the things I'm working on. Letting people be free to decide for themselves and not taking any of their toxicity in. So you want to worry, you go ahead. That's valid. Go worry. Go worry. That's okay. For most of you who, understand that this is just a process, you don't got to worry. Don't worry about it. That's already in the past. They'll probably try something again in the future. How far in the future? No one knows. We don't know. We don't know. But just go ahead and keep swimming. Keep swimming against the grain. That's how you're going to smooth out your edges. Okay? After the storm in reverse. So this is kind of telling me that either one, there's no storm, or two, storm is still going. There's still a storm and you're going to need to take shelter. Take shelter from the storm. So then that probably applies to the people who are like, what do you mean I shouldn't worry? Well, take shelter then. If the storm is still happening, that's a good thing. That means it's putting out the fires. Like, hello, is this thing on? I'm sorry, guys. Someone's really irritated in the comments, not commenting, thinking like, what do you mean I shouldn't worry? I mean, you need to make your own decisions. This is a general reading. You know that, right? This is a general reading. I know you're not expecting me to cater to you specifically with a personalized reading for your situation. See, that's about the want and the need being aligned. What you want is not aligned with the reality of what you actually need. You're not going to get a personal reading in a general reading. Y'all need to not think so loud. I'm just saying, you're making my vein pop out. Anyways, if there's a storm, you don't have to worry about the fire because, hello, the fire will be put out by the storm. It makes it much harder for that fire to spread. Here's another thing. Here's another truth. Biggity bomb. When you have a lot of debris on the ground, fallen branches, dried out matter, that's going to help spread the fire. If you're afraid of this fire spreading, you need to begin taking inventory of what BS you've left laying around in your mind, because that serves as the tinder for the flame. It's not the live stream or the reading or the reader that's the issue. It's the lack of accountability for the way you don't maintain your own auric space. That's your actual life issue. Offended? See, that's the problem. I'm holding you accountable and you're offended that someone finally cares enough to tell you straight up, what your actual issue is. And the way you're treating this is really highly indicative of how you treat every other situation in your life. Everything's about to burn. I'm preparing my marshmallows. Preparing some popcorn. This is worth digestive upset. Anyone have Jiffy Pop? Anyone have any Jiffy Pop? So my husband sends me this TikTok video. This girl is with her mom, Filipina, and it's something like, not my toxic auntie, my toxic tita, bragging to everyone about how her daughter has this amazing job and gets paid more than everyone else. Yeah, she still owes my mom money. I was cracking up. And she goes, should I stop adding fuel to the fire? And I was like, no, Pinsan. Put more wood. I'm bringing the Jiffy Pop. We popping some popcorn. Show us what Tita says. Show us what Tita tells you when you tell her. I'm like, damn. She really called out her Tita. That is such common Filipino dynamic. Is just ridiculous. Everyone in the comments was like, oh shit, you too? Damn, I thought it was just my family. No, baby boo. No. All Filipino families have this. All of them. It's okay. Number 28, collaborative dreaming. Recognizing you're co-creating the dream or the nightmare. It requires your participation. It requires it. Why are a lot of the situations that are presented to me, the dramatic, drama-filled BS situations, why do they have a hard time really fully rooting into my life? I'm not going to be there to water it. I'll take my shovel and I'll take the entire patch of dirt that surrounds the seed you've planted. I'm going to throw it over the fence. Let that germinate in your field. I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm good. I'm good. You got a problem with me? Okay. Well, I hope the best for you as you deal with your problem with me. I'm not there for that. Well, Emmie, you were just talking about accountability. Yeah, but see, if I didn't do anything to you and you have a problem with me, yet you keep coming here with your problem about me, who has the issue there? Because I promise you it's not me. I mean, it's one thing if I'm like tagging you, emailing you the link, inviting you to come join me here, and then I'm talking caca to you. I mean, yeah, no, I absolutely need to take accountability for that. But when I'm in my own lane, doing my own thing, speaking in general terms, existing in general terms, and you over there having a problem, sound like a you thing. It's a you thing. Maybe you need to start singing this song of like, I like the way she works it. No diggity. I mean, for some people, they're going to have an issue with you. Yet they keep coming around because the reality is their issue is they either covet you or admire you too much. And they don't like that. No diggity. I'm about to bag you up. I mean, I'm gonna put you in a bag and put a twisty tie. Put you in a bag and twisty tie you. Leave you out on the curb. Spiritual curb. Spiritual curb. Just leave you out there. I don't have a compost. I don't have a compost. So there's no need for you to stay here. That's the thing. You guys have to have this logic with other people as well. If they're bringing you all the caca, you know what I mean? Like they're like chickens scratching in the dirt, pecking at things, constantly pecking at things. Sometimes they're like, "Caw, caw, 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 caw." I'm just saying, chicken caca is really good fertilizer from what I hear. I don't own chickens. I eat them. I don't own chickens. I eat them. So maybe you shouldn't bring your chicken head stuff to my door. If I get hungry enough, I'll figure out how to cook it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like sometimes people will try and bring chicken carcass type energy to your door. Now, what am I going to do with that? What am I going to do with that? I'm just saying, if you're going to bring that to my door, can you please process that first? I don't know how to do that. I'm just saying. Can we build a co-op? You go ahead, you raise the chicken, you process the carcass. I'll eat it. I'll eat it. I'm just saying, people think like you got to be scared and no. Leave dead birds at your door. Is that like jerk chicken? What is that? Can y'all eat pigeons? Hold on. Let me I know you can have pigeon egg. Pigeon edible. Oh, pigeons are widely eaten in many countries. Squab. Squab. Squabs are young pigeons. Y'all over here acting like squabs. Stop being such a squab. Ooh, a young pigeon. Ooh. You're making me cool. Ooh. You're a squab. I'm just saying, I'll take my socks off. I'm heated off of this. Ooh, that's a new word for me. Card number 12. Every journey starts with a with a single step. And it's upside down. So that's the reverse of it. Someone is refusing to take that step forward. Let me stop talking shit already. Let me stop talking shit. I have a fan, I have a heater. I'm centered. If I turn the fan on this side and turn the heater on that side, will that create balance? Or will it just blow the circuit? We have surge protector. No, I don't want to take down the whole house. Let me just leave it alone. All right. Card number 25. Card number 25. Release the dark wound, let love live. Allowing yourself to let go of whatever was done. Okay. Whatever was done. Allowing yourself to be hands free. You know, if you continue to hold on to things that are toxic, it's going to continue to radiate your field, right? So then what ends up happening when your life is trying to give you something new and amazing and good, your hands are already preoccupied. Your hands are preoccupied. So you have to let go of the things that no longer serve your growth, no longer serve you. Power of attraction in reverse. That is not your twin. That is not your twin. Okay? I think for many of us, I was talking about a couple people specifically earlier where they're so toxic in their beliefs. Just my personal opinion. I personally believe they're so toxic in their personal beliefs that I am their twin, and that's why they continue to just be obsessed. Do you ever meet people like that? You ever meet people who will not leave you alone because they are obsessed with claiming that you are their divine counterpart? Have you ever met people like that? Where even if they don't have the concept of that divine counterpart, they are obsessed with you to the point where sometimes the obsession becomes malignant, malicious. I don't know if parts of that experience have to do with people who have awesome energy not properly or responsibly harnessing that energy, or if it has to do with dysfunction and pathology on the person's end, or a combo of both, or, maybe some of us just possess a type of energy that draws people in. Oh, they couldn't take no for an answer. Just give me a chance. Had to block that crap quick. Ugh. I don't get that. I literally don't get that. Like for me personally, you only have to give me a sense of like being irritated with my presence. I'm out. I'm out. I'm not gonna ask for a chance or like, oh, oops. I didn't know you don't like me around. I will not be around again. sorry. I don't know how to read social cues. I didn't know. I'm really sorry. I just won't come back around again. Like, no, it's all good. No, 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 no. You don't have to be sorry. I hurt my own feelings coming around here. Like, no, it's good. I'll leave you alone now. You know, like if every single time I reach out to someone, they are consistently busy and it feels like they're just too busy for me in particular, I won't reach out anymore. You know what I mean? Like and it's not even like I'm reaching out 4, 5, 6 times like, "Oh my god." I'll reach out twice. And oftentimes I'll reach out one time and then I will leave it to you to choose when you do have a free moment to reach out to me or not. And if you don't, then that tells me what I need to know and I just leave it at that. I'll leave it alone. Like respecting people's boundaries. Respecting people, period. I don't understand. So reaching a point of realizing how much are we allowing? How much are we encouraging? How much? You know? How much? That's part of the things that I'm also working on with the whole PTSD thing. This really, really fucked up perception of if I just said something right from the start, because I knew it was going to be an issue. I knew this person was going to be obsessive and be an issue. And I already saw it. And I should have said something. I should have just like, I let it get this far because I didn't say anything. And it's like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. It had to get this far so we understand why we need to say something right from the start so that we understand. It's not another piece of evidence of how you suck and you create everything and it's your fault. That's bullshit. This is about learning causation and effect. Learning that when you choose the cause of remaining silent when you should speak up, the effect is going to be more than just inconvenient. It's depending on the person and the situation, it could potentially be devastating. It could potentially be devastating. That's okay. That's okay. Sometimes the things that are devastating in life end up becoming the things that remind you how powerful you actually are. I was watching this video on hair. People be fighting about hair so damn much. I'm just like, I don't identify as my hair, so I'm not even going to enter that conversation, right? But this video specifically was talking about dreadlocks. One side was like, um, I need to recognize part of the history of dreadlock and that for some it's something that is sacred, something that is like a choice and it's a journey. I totally get that. I totally respect it. And that, when people use it just as a style, that could be disrespectful. And I agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. And then there were some people in because it was splices of different videos. And then there were some people who are like, anyone can do this. And I'm not in it for the debate of that. I'm just trying to set the background of what this video was. And it was very interesting. I had to watch it several times to kind of understand more because I want to understand. I don't identify as my hair. That's not part of my identity. Like I'm balding. I'm balding. Um, like I'm balding. And I've been balding for several years. And it's this thing of like, I don't identify as my hair because if I identify as my hair, that's going to destroy me as a person. It will destroy me as a person. And so I choose not to identify as my hair and the condition that it's in. And so I had to understand and juxtapose my journey with my hair and my identity with other people's journey and how they still identify as their hair. And a lot of people do this. It's not just one specific group. It's not just one specific group. Like, touching on the topic of dreadlocks, a lot of people who are into, the whole gambit of this um subculture, it's not, again, not just with a race. It's like a region of the world. This is standard type hair, like the Caribbean, things like that, where it's just, it's part of the culture, not the actual ethnicity, but the culture of it. Like a lot of people who are into reggae, a lot of people who are into poly rock, they wear their hair in dreads. It's part of the aesthetic of the culture, subculture that they're a part of. And so I'm like really trying to understand that yes, I don't identify as my hair anymore. A lot of other people still do. And just because I don't identify using that anymore, it does not all of a sudden negate other people's journey. It just doesn't. And just because I've outgrown that, and let me be very clear, in Asian cultures, it's not uncommon for the hair to be the woman's crowning glory. Most of my life, I have had hair so thick down to the back of my knees. Most of my life. That's most of my life, you guys. And I've been told that if I cut it short, I will be ugly. I will look like a boy. Why would I want it short? That's part of my culture. Like, and I can't ever have my hair on my face. It has to be pulled back either in a bun or it has to be braided. That's part of my culture. And now I exist as rebellion to that. I'm so far beyond just my hair. I could lose it all. I really don't care at this point. I don't care at this point. I don't care that I'm balding. I don't care that my hair is miniaturizing. I used to have hair that was so thick that people would ask me how many packets of hair I have weaved into my head. If it's Remy, I'm like, I don't fucking know what you're talking about. What is Remy? I don't get it. Like, what? And someone had to tell me while I was working as a makeup artist, someone had to be like, oh, she thinks you have a weave. And I was like, what? What's a weave? I was like 19, 18, 19. They're like, what's a weave? What is that? Like a wig? They're like, oh, it's actually sewed into your head, like into your skin. And she's like, no, girl, where do you live? And I'm like, I don't know what a weave is. Like, what is that? Like a wig? She thinks I'm wearing a wig. She goes, no, like it's extensions of hair, and then you keep braids, and then they sew that in. I was like, oh. Oh, I'm kinda slow. I'm kinda slow with things like that. I didn't fucking know. Shit. And then people would be like, "Oh, that's because 'cause you're Asian. That's like Asian hair." What the fuck does that mean? Because the style during that time was to have stick straight hair. And so I would straighten my hair it would take me about 3 hours. That's how much hair I have or had. It would take me about 3 hours, about an hour and a half to blow dry my hair in sections, and my hair would literally become like a mini afro puff at the base, and then the length of it, like, would have it because my hair was coarse. And people would be like, "Oh my god, you're just so lucky to have, your Asian ancestors gave you beautiful hair." I'm like, "'Cause it's straight." My hair's not straight. Like, a lot of my curl has loosened up. Uh, well, I brushed it. But a lot of my curl has loosened up, and I have a lot of really, really tight, I used to, along my hairline. And then the base was like corkscrews. And people would tell me that I have value because my hair was straight. And that created such an insecurity, like, oh, if I don't straighten my hair, people going to think I'm from the mountains and shit. Because in my culture, we have indigenous peoples. They're called Igorots. They usually live in the mountains in like smaller tribe type settings. And their skin is extremely dark. Their hair is extremely coarse, like Aboriginal, very tight, coarse curls. And in my culture, like that's offensive to be lumped in with the Igor. It's like, why? I don't get it. Why is that offensive? And so to have texture in your hair, you're lumped with the Igorots. But that's my hair texture. Like, I don't get it. Why does that devalue me? Well, how does that devalue me? It only devalues me if I agree with it. I'm only confused if I continue to live in such a way where the standards that I use to determine where I stand within society is not determined by me specifically. Has to be determined by you. Your worth. What's valuable about you. It has to be determined by you. It has to. It has to. And the way you value yourself can't necessarily be just about like, well, I'm going to be extra vocal because I need to prove to other people. That's not confidence. That's not confidence. That's you trying to play the role of opposition. You're still participating. When you oppose things, you are participating. Just on the other end of the spectrum. Just on the other end of the spectrum. Depending on my hormonal composition at any given time, my hair can be like this, where it's almost straight, partially wavy, or it could be extremely curly. It's just this part right here. I don't know. I feel like someone dragged me into this life. This section right here is the section that's just fucking straight. This is what kills me every time. Everything else will like curl and wave beautifully, but this bitch right here, it's literally like Michael grabbed me and like, get in that fucking body. I'm like, no, I don't want to. And then he grabbed me by my hair right here, and it straightened out the curl right there, just right there, flat as fuck. It's fine. It's gonna be fine. We just hide that. We hide that from me, not from anyone else. Your worth is determined by you. Stop participating in these games where you have to be the opposition. Like, you're playing societal tennis. You know how hard it is to play with someone if they're not swinging at the ball? Like, you keep serving them the ball and they don't hit it back to you. Use that analogy for every situation in your life. Use that analogy. Just use it. See how it benefits you. I once had this landlord at the place I was living at try and force interaction with me. Despite me like being clear about, I don't socialize with people outside of my immediate family. Like, just stop. Still trying to force interaction with me. Like, you're disrupting my right to quiet enjoyment. You're disrupting my life. Like, stop. Still wouldn't stop. Still trying to force interaction. Still trying to enter the house. Is that something for me to, like, I don't know what to do. So, I have to just let them continue to disrespect the space that I pay for to live in peacefully. No. Legalities were initiated. And what happened? Well, then I got really tickled pink by that. Because now they're trying to enter the house to check smoke detectors that are fully functional. Just to force an interaction. Okay. You want to leave a 24-hour notice? That's within your legal right. That is a permissible reason. You want to serve me these papers in so many different ways? Time-stamped electronic methods? Okay. Then you want to not show up? And then you want to say that I needed to confirm for you? No, not in the state of California. No. Not in the state of California. You chose not to come. Now I got you by your balls. Because not only will I no longer reply to you, all of this shit, lawyers are going to reply to you. You will not engage with me again. You will not be acknowledged. You will not get your way. You will not do any of that shit with me because I'm not going to be there for you to fuck with. Good luck playing tennis with the air. People want to hit the ball into your court. Let it sit on the floor. Don't play with that shit. Let it sit on the floor. Let it sit on the floor. And just stare at it. I promise you, they will wild the fuck out. Well, how come you didn't hit the ball back into my court? I don't got to explain shit. I don't even got to tell you I don't got to explain shit. Just sitting here, sipping my tea, watching you piss yourself off. And after a certain period, I'm going to get bored with the stupidity of it. And I'm going to go about my day. Have you ever people watched? Have you ever allowed yourself to just watch people as they're doing whatever it is they're doing? And sometimes it's interesting, right? Sometimes you're like, what the fuck is going on here? There was a person who was driving with an extra large dog igloo on their extra small car, holding it like this outside the door. What the fuck? What the fuck are they going to do with that? Are they just like moving to a different parking spot? Are they going to really drive on the street holding it like that? Like, what the fuck? Anyways, I got to go to the store. Yeah, that's how it works. That's how it works. Another time, my husband and I, we were driving, and this guy from the opposing traffic, he was turning into this parking lot. We weren't going to go there. We weren't going to go there. But he almost ran over a bike rider who had like a 5-gallon bucket or something like that on his bike that had tools. I think this was like a homeless guy. So he cuts the guy off. The driver cuts the bike rider off, almost runs him over. Bike rider goes into the parking lot that the driver went into, and he gets out, I think it was like a golf club. We weren't going to go into that parking lot. So I tell my husband, turn in there, turn in there. I want to see what happens. Oh my God. Holy shit. I wonder if that guy sees the guy on the bike. He cuts through the parking lot and then goes to the other exit. And it happens to be an incline. And oh, it was just, bicycle, I like almost right. And the guy books it and makes it right. And I was like, ugh. My husband's asking me if we should still, no, it's fine. I was just like thinking, if he parks his car in this parking lot, oh my God, that guy has a golf club. He's pissed. Like, this is going to be some shit. We're not going to get involved. I just want to see what happens. And then the rest of the day carries on. Like, there's no need for us to actually involve ourselves. The rest of the day can actually just carry on. That should be done prior to you occupy. Oh, it was. And then it was done again like month 3. And then again like 6 days later after that. And then again another request like 2 weeks later. And then again another request at like a week or 2. Yeah. No, fuck that shit. No more tennis. No more tennis. Yep. I think he was homeless is what it is. I think the man was homeless because he had like all his accoutrements. He pulled out a golf club. I was just like, he's fucking ready. He's ready. He's ready. He carried a golf club. It's like, you can't blame him. You know, sometimes people mess with bike riders. So you can't really blame him. But trust yourself. You'll know when to disengage. Sometimes toxic people need you to continue to try to prove that you're more right so that they can continue to play with you. You know, like, no. You want to be right? I don't care. You want to prove something? I don't care. Like, you're really not part of my life like that. No, I don't care. We have to allow ourselves to be selective over what we care about. Do you feel like you have to care about everything? Because I promise you, you don't. Someone has an ugly opinion about you, who cares? Literally, who cares? Is it because that's who you really are? Is it because they're bringing up insecurities that you might have where you're worried people will believe that's who you really are? Then that person, through their malicious intent, is gifting you an opportunity to learn more about yourself. And maybe that's why it's being allowed by your soul. I had to learn about myself several years back, like pretty early on in this like publicly visible journey. I had to learn about myself. And what did I learn? Through the malicious intent of others, I learned that I was afraid that if people saw the gravity of what I can do, even a small portion of it, because that's the reality. You guys only see a small portion of my experiences and my true abilities. I'm not interested in impressing people. You only see enough to get the work I have to do done. That's it. And I was afraid that if people even saw just enough, they would assume that I was demonic, that I made deals with the devil, because that's how I was raised. I come from a Catholic household, a Catholic culture, not just Catholic, but devoutly so, where by the time you're middle aged, not even end stage of your life, but by the time you're middle aged, sometimes even before that, by the time you're in your like 40s, 50s, definitely before you're in your 60s. You have to begin devoting a large portion of your life to prayer. Like there's no like qualms about how you live. You just have to pray a lot by the time you're around those ages. Why? So you could buy your way into heaven. If you say enough prayers, I mean, they got to let you in, right? Kind of like old school food stamps, when there was an actual like stamp, the booklet. Um, like if you collect enough, like, no, motherfucker, get Jesus over here. Hey, Seuss, get over here. Hey, Seuss, I got 5 fucking booklets. What's this motherfucker mean I can't get in? I can totally picture that. Get Jesus over here. I got a fucking complaint to file. Excuse me, sir. This motherfucker at the gate said I don't have enough booklets. Like, what the fuck? You can't buy your way in. But in my culture, you can. Starting your like 40s, 50s, you can. You can. I promise you, you can. If you convert enough people, bring their souls back to. Oh my God, let me stop. But this motherfucker at the gate. I got a complaint to file. Who the fuck's your manager, Peter? Oh shit. Let me stop. Let me stop for real. Let me, let me stop. What you want wants you. Not always. Not always. Okay? Not always. Sometimes we want things that we just should not have. You know? Sometimes we want things that are malignant to other people. That level of toxic. Like, for example, when you break up with someone and you're still in love with them, but they're not in love with you, like they've moved on. They've moved on. Like that relationship ended. They're living their life, but you're over here like, I don't want to see you with anyone else. I don't want to this. I don't want to that. Case in point, toxic Disick, Scott Disick, toxic Disick, and Courtney. What the fuck? Yeah, Scott Disick and Courtney Kardashian. There have been things that have been written and videos created where he's like basically saying, like, we're supposed to be together. Like, mind you, they've split up since I think it was like 2015 or something like that. I don't know. I just saw a video last night. That's why this is coming up. They split up, I think, in like 2015. And they've both dated other people. But the moment she dates someone that's like actually loving on her, like there's no denying they are so drawn to each other. And now it's like I can't believe she moved on without me. Like that he doesn't want her with anyone else. Okay, narcissist much? That's selfish. Selfish. When you move on, it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. But when that relationship ends, make it your goal to wish the best for them and truly mean it. Truly mean it. Like, truly mean it. Hope they find the love that you two couldn't have together. Like, really, truly mean it. Don't be that kind of person. Don't be a toxic Disick. Many of us are at home with the Pisceans, different sense of. That's why we are so at home with it. So many would be clutching their pearls, synthetic pearls. Stop! I'm joking myself to stop. Okay. Like anal pearls? Okay, let me stop for it. Oh my God, that was too far. I don't know. I will share with you guys. As soon as I said, "Oh my god, that was too far," in my head, I heard myself say, "No, it was just enough." I still have an attitude problem today. Just so you guys know, I still have an attitude problem today. It's gonna be okay, though. We gonna work through it. We gonna work through it. Michael over here with a golf club. He's like, "No, I don't." They don't know that. Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. He doesn't have a golf club. I literally was just kidding. He's like, "That's a lie." It's a joke. They know you don't fucking travel with a golf club. I hate golf, by the way. I'm so not joking. Like when I was much younger, when I was still a child, when I was still living at my parents' house, um, I don't know whose cockamamie idea it was, but my parents moved us to this pretentious AF neighborhood that's situated within a golf course. They told us moving day. They told us moving day. They didn't give us any options. Like they didn't tell us in advance. They were just like, "Hey, wake up. You need to pack your things. It's time to move." What? What? What do you mean? And there was a U-Haul in the driveway. That's how they did it. And as if it wasn't bad enough to move into this golf course where everyone was just so full of themselves in a negative way, he set up like a putting green in the backyard. He set up a putting green in the backyard, which usually that would be fine because, like, that's his house, his life. Oh, but no, no. The reason I hate golf to this day is he used to yell at me to fucking putt in the backyard. But I don't want to putt. That's how he would look at me. Like, "Oh, I don't have golf clubs." It's like, "Well, I can't buy you any until I know you're gonna actually use it." I don't want golf club. I don't wanna play golf. Like, I don't wanna play golf. And I got yelled at. It's like, I don't fucking know how you hold that shit like something like this. You gotta grip you gotta hold it. And then I was putting it wrong. Putting it wrong. Chipping into I'm like, I don't wanna do this. Mm-mm. And then came that's why you're not gonna amount to anything. Because people who play golf professionally are filthy rich. And if I'm not gonna practice, then I'm not gonna amount to anything, I guess in the golf world or maybe in life in general. I don't know. I fucking hate golf. I do. I hate golf. Hmm. And see, that was another thing, Ocean Lover. She wrote, he might not have wanted to put that gold club in your hands. That's the thing. Like, he could never get base model of anything, like ever, ever. So he had to get ridiculously expensive golf clubs. And if you bang that on anything, like, you want me to fucking play golf and then you're going to yell at me about like your expensive clubs? I don't fucking think so. I hate golf. That's why I hate golf. I probably would have loved golf had I had a different parent. He tried to force me into like tennis as well. I mean, I'm just saying. Yeah. I think what caused him to finally stop trying to force me to play golf was he was upstairs one day and his golf clubs were in the kitchen on the way to the backyard, and I fucking judo chopped the shit out of that golf bag and it fell over. It's like, "Whop." And he's like, "What happened?" And I don't know. It fell over. I don't know. You best believe I was in the garage. I was in the garage, which is technically the truth. Because when he got downstairs, I was coming in from the garage. What? What? What happened? I don't know. I heard something and I came in. Who knocked down your golf clubs? Oh my God. Who knocked it down? Because it wasn't me. Card number 27, receiving. Allowing yourself to receive the truth. Allowing yourself to receive confirmation of what you mean to other people, what your place is in their life, what maybe they need from you in regards to interactions. Maybe they need you to be truthful to the degree that they can finally begin understanding some of the shit that, you know, like really begin to understand their behaviors. And most people will only understand their behaviors when people call them out on it. You know what I mean? So, dark interference, parasitic stuff going on. There's parasitic stuff going on, and that parasitic stuff, if you don't recognize that it's parasitic, you're most likely going to believe it's true. It's going to affect the way you see yourself. It's going to affect the way you function within your life. You have to allow yourself to recognize when someone in your life, no matter how much you love them, when they're parasitic, you know, when they're parasitic. Yeah. It's this thing that we do where we allow ourselves to get angry, but we don't allow ourselves to explain our anger. We don't hold people accountable to what they did that led us to that place of anger. Like I I think it was Universal D that posted it on Facebook, something about people want to talk about how you're triggered, but they don't want to talk about what they did to trigger you. Right. Right. They want to talk about the end result, not the behaviors. And on the flip side of that, people want to accuse you of triggering them, but they don't want to acknowledge that your toxicity already existed before I ever even realized there was a trigger. Or maybe I didn't even know you're going to be triggered by a basic AF statement. It exists on both ends of the spectrum. Even though they're both ends of the spectrum, we fail to realize what that spectrum is. That's the spectrum of the effects from the causation of lack of accountability. When you lack accountability for the way you live your life and the way that how you live affects other people's lives, yeah, that sucks. It sucks. It seriously sucks to be around someone so toxic that they can't ever hear that any part of the situation was co-created by them. We're not even touching into the like it's your fault. We're talking about co-creating, like they had a part in what happened. That fucking sucks. That sucks. That's a deal breaker on every single fucking level. It sucks. It just sucks. It sucks when they're aggressive about it. It sucks even more when they're passive aggressive about it. Like, oh, no, 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 that's not what I said. I don't know if you got a squeaky toy stuck in your throat. Let me shove my fist down your throat to make sure. Let me clear that pathway. Don't get squeaky voiced with me. I don't find it cute. And it's not going to cause me to enable you in your toxicity. I heard what I heard. I read what I read. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm pretty good at reading. I'm pretty good at reading. Reading energy, reading behind the words that are said or written. I'm pretty good at that. So, definitely keep the receipts. Oh, ooh, message me. You're still on Facebook, right? Message me. I got something to talk to you about. Yeah. And they don't want to discuss anything related to it. So there's two types of reactions that I notice. They don't want to discuss anything related to it, or, or, um, they want to continue discussing it, but you have to hear what they have to say because you are so wrong. Like, that's not what I meant. You are so wrong. For me personally, it's like if someone misunderstands um, what I said. It's kind of like, do you like want me to explain or, you know, like, okay, I'll just leave it alone, you know? Like if you're just going to accuse me of things, that kind of tells me like you don't really need me to explain. You've already decided things. And I'm just going to go ahead and honor that. Okay? I don't need to defend myself. I know the integrity that I choose to live with, right? It's a whole nother thing if you come to me like, "Hey, what did you mean by this?" "Well, I meant this, this, and this." And it's a whole discussion. "Well, I thought you meant this, this, and this." And I was like, "No, I meant this, but I could see how you could take it that way, but that's not what I meant. I'm sorry. Did that confusion like offend you? Like that wasn't my intention." But when you come at me like, "You don't know, no, 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 no." Okay, you better? You got off your chest? Okay, I gotta go. Bye. See the difference between the two? There's a huge difference between the two. When someone approaches you as though they've already decided, it's not your job to change their mind. That violates the laws of sovereignty. It violates the laws of sovereignty. It just does. It's a violation. When you ask a question, you're seeking clarity. When you make statements, especially in a passionate tone, you've made up your mind. Whether you're right, wrong, accurate, inaccurate, it's really irrelevant. You've made up your mind. And I'm not going to spend my time, my energy, my life trying to correct you. You're allowed to be right for yourself. And I'm allowed to disagree with that for myself. And none of it needs to be discussed unless both are willing to hear the opposing position. It's not a discussion. If your intent is to correct my thoughts because you believe you're right, that's not a discussion. I mean, debates are healthy. No, they're not. They're adult arguments, they're civilized arguments. They're civilized arguments. I'd be so fucking good at debate club. You have no idea. Oh my God. I have an answer for everything. But I'll probably make them cry. So I'm not allowed to do debate club. I'm just saying, my line has been crooked this entire live stream. And I'm trying to be okay with it, but I'm just not anymore. Let me just. It was just a matter of this much hair fucking up my feelings about myself. It was just that much hair fucking up my feelings about myself. Do we do that with life? You allow that many strands of like misalignment to fuck up your entire view? Is that what it is? Is that how we live now? Hold on. Just... There we go. Ooh. Oh my God. Love it. Straightness. That dark interference. Sometimes this is what's causing those few strands of distraction, few strands of contention. If it's really bothering you that much, fix it. That was just a few seconds. And now I can leave my hairline alone. Like, I can quit staring at my forehead and how it makes me look crooked. I can now leave it alone. If you can't leave the topic, subject matter, situation alone in your head, you probably need to just address it head on so that you can be done with it. Not so you could put people in their place and show them how right you are. As smart as you are, there's always going to be someone smarter. Hold on. Okay. So, who's the smartest person alive? Or who's the smartest person that's ever lived? Einstein? Yeah. Because, oh my God, Einstein. Like, oh, you're a little Einstein, aren't you? Right? Because Einstein is the standard. William James Sidis. So Einstein's IQ was guesstimated to be somewhere between 160 and 180, right? William James Sidis. His IQ was estimated to be between 250 and 300. Yeah. Do you guys even know who William James Sidis is? So his IQ was between 250 and 300. Let's see. So Nikola Tesla, his IQ was estimated to be from 160 to 310. Let's see. Let's see what else. Yeah, from 160 to 310. So no one really knows. Yeah, no one's even ever heard about William. No matter how smart you are, no matter how strong you are, no matter how much you accomplish, there will always exist another person who can do more. Does that mean you've done less? Does that mean you've done less? I have the sub count I have. There are channels who have like 20 times more subs than I do. Does that lessen the work that I do? No. I have the X amount of sales that I have every year. There are companies who make 200 times more than what I do in 1 year in 1 quarter. Does that minimize what I've earned for myself? No. So we have to begin realizing, like really realizing what we're allowing ourselves to participate in. Like, what is it? How much do you mean to yourself? How much are you allowing yourself to mean to other people? Pisceans and empaths, we are gifts unto humanity. We are gifts. How are we a gift, Emmie? Is it because we have powers? No, it's because you're present. Presents, gifts. That's it. But I have to save the world. Honey, have you saved yourself? What do you mean? Have you saved yourself from that toxic belief that you are the solution to everyone's problem? Because you can't save the world until you first save yourself. All of these potential solutions that you're guesstimating to be, profound, until you've been able to apply them in real life, you really don't know how it will work. You just don't know how it will work. So until you can make sure that it actually works in the way it was intended to, you can't offer that to the world. That's irresponsible. That's ego based. So you're saying that I need to work on myself first before I can help people work on themselves? Yes, because once you work on yourself, you will save yourself from that toxicity. And I promise you, after you've successfully worked on yourself to a certain degree, because this is a process that will continue for the rest of your life. Once you heal to a certain basic degree, you will stop wanting to save other people. Does that mean you no longer want to help? No. That means now you understand it was never my place to try and control others. Like, God, I'm supposed to just help and hold space and let people come to their own realizations when they're coming to it. Like, I realize now, oh my God, I know a lot, but only as a human being. And we're dealing with topics of soul. So really, I don't even know what I don't know. So I don't know how little I actually know. Like, whoa, whoa. And as you uncover more about yourself, more about the things you need to know about, you then really amplify the gift that you are. Stop trying to be a savior. Right. Look what happened the last time. They fucking nailed him to a tree. People don't want to be saved. Tell me where I lied. Tell me where I lied. Oh, but Emmie, Gandhi. Okay. I uncovered quite a bit of really disturbing shit about Gandhi. That doesn't negate the goodness that, you know, he's credited with doing, but I also uncovered some really crazy shit about Gandhi. Well, then Mother Teresa, oh, that one was even worse. Oh my God, that one was even worse. Eh, Yeah. Oh my God, you guys need to look that up. Well, I mean, there are people who have, what, Oprah? Okay. Okay. Sure. Oprah. Yeah. Mm. Okay, well, Siddhartha. But see, Siddhartha didn't do anything but travel and dive deep within himself, acknowledge the pain of others, and really, really empathize. And that pain that he felt, witnessing other people in pain, inspired him to allow himself to live a different type of life. And it's through that introspection and the realizations that resulted from the introspection That's how he created the belief systems. All right. So, the basic doctrines of early Buddhism, which remain common to all Buddhism, include the Four Noble Truths. Existence is suffering. Suffering has a cause, namely craving and attachment. There is a cessation of suffering, which is nirvana, and there is a path to the cessation of the suffering. There's also the Eightfold Path. There are the three main beliefs, which let me get it for you guys so maybe you guys can look into it. The three universal truths of all forms of Buddhism. Nothing is lost in the universe. Everything changes. The law of cause and effect. This is nice. Let me download this. It's a nice little nugget. Royal return. The truth of sovereignty is that you are the royal within your life. You are the utmost, highest authority in your life for you. Excuse me. Only for you, though. Not even for your children. You are a guardian. You are a guide. You help to teach children how to navigate through their early life, hoping that what you help them to learn will prepare them to more easily, more readily, more peacefully navigate their life as an adult. But they are sovereigns unto themselves. They truly are. They truly are. That doesn't mean you have to kiss their asses. That doesn't mean you never allow yourself to be reactive when their behavior is out of hand or disrespectful in some way. Because you do have to prepare them for other people's reactions when they disagree. I'm not saying you need to get violent with them. It's not necessarily that you have to yell at them, just like you don't have to use constantly soft tones. Helping them to learn the gravity of sovereignty. I remember one time, I think so years ago, I think I was telling my kids it was bedtime. We were trying to do a bedtime thing, right? The little sovereigns. Sure. So we don't do bedtime. It's kind of this thing of like, hey, I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed. Well, wait for me. I'm going to go to bed too. That's how bedtime goes. So a few years ago, we were trying to do this whole bedtime routine. And I was like, okay, well, I kind of like this vibe that other parents have where it's like their kids go to bed around like 7 or 8 p.m. And then for a few hours, the grown-ups kind of have their time together with the kids asleep. Oh, no. Oh, no. I said, okay, it's bedtime. And one of my littlest ones was like, but we're sovereigns. Right, but it's bedtime. But I'm not tired. I thought you said for sovereignty, we get to decide for ourselves the things that are healthy for us. Okay, but like kids are supposed to get more sleep. Yeah, but we homeschool. So I don't have to wake up at a specific time. Well, but kids are supposed to go to sleep so the parents can kind of unwind. Oh, so you just don't want us around. No, that's not what I mean. But what about sovereignty? Never mind. Fine. Okay, never mind. I'm going to bed in a few minutes. Oh, I'll go to bed too. I thought you weren't tired. Yeah, but I don't want to be awake by myself. It's like, are we going to bed now? Yeah, we're going to bed. Lost that one. Definitely lost that one. He's like, oh, so you just don't want us around. No, that's not what I said. Families have, because it's usually the younger one, because on Pinterest again. Sure, it's a fucking article again. There she goes. And the younger ones will be like, but our family different. What works for one family is not going to work for ours. All right. All right. Gotcha. Gotcha. So we no longer do, we don't do the whole, I tried, I lost that battle. So eloquent though. I couldn't be mad at that. I was like, you're right. Hello, can you guys hear me? Can you hear and see me okay? Can you hear and see me okay? Am I still connected? Do I still have Wi-Fi? So you guys can see me, right? All right. So now if we want to have some QT as a husband and wife, we go on a little date because we don't really do dates. Like, I don't know. We just don't do dates. But now we do little dates. What's up? Oh, I can't finish up here. We're going on a date. The other day we went on a date to the car wash. I think we're going on a date to a store in a few minutes. Okay, yep, nope, not your twin ray. Someone is trying to use that tactic, that logic to try and trap you. Obviously, this is not going to apply to everyone, but for some of you, that is a spiritual F person. Attract sigil. They're gaslighting you into believing that you've drawn them in. You've drawn them in because they're your TF. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And then Blu-ray Awakening. Yeah, they're probably not a Blu-ray either. They're probably just using these terms to try and draw you in, to try and like create some platform of resonance with you. Nope. Yeah. There's people like that. There's people who exist. They're like that. They'll use these terms, you know? They'll use these terms, and if you don't know any better, they'll convince you. I once had someone who insisted that they had found their twin and that their twin is a closeted lesbian. I'm like, how do you know this? Did they tell you? And this person's like, no, I know they're my twin. Hello. I'm like, wow. So like you found your twin, you're a closet lesbian. Is it because you're a lesbian? Because I mean, looking at their Facebook stuff, I'm pretty sure she likes the D. I'm pretty sure, like, she all up on that guy. Like, I'm pretty sure she likes his D. Nothing in the post show me that, not even in the energy, it shows me that she likes something else. You sure? She's just hiding it. If you say so. If you say so. Yeah. if you say so. And a lot of the, we're supposed to be together. She's just in denial. She's just in denial that she's really, like she's scared to come out with the truth of her sexuality. No, I I could have sworn I saw a picture of her like gripping her boyfriend's crotch in the picture. Like full grab. Pretty sure she's comfortable with her sexuality. I'm pretty sure of it. You guys ever hear anything like that? You guys ever hear people say that kind of stuff? Yeah. I've had plenty of people tell me that we belong together. Well, not plenty. There's that might be plenty. That might be plenty. I counted 9. I've had at least 9 people that I remember basically express to me that we belong together, but phrase in the way. In the way of what? In the way of what? Like, I don't answer their messages because Frey doesn't let me. Really? Like, it never occurred to you that I don't answer you because I don't want to? Because I don't agree with you trying to take ownership of me? Uh, Fascinating. Fascinating. Yeah. And the funny thing is, one person that I do suspect, begrudgingly suspect, that is actually my counterpart. Like, I suspect they actually might be the counterpart for real. At no point had they ever communicated that Frey way of anything. Ever. In fact, my dark twin, my shadow twin, he likes Frey. He and Frey have had beers together. Like, but Frey's in the way. Be glad Frey's in the way, because Frey's the one that's telling me, like, no, don't fuck with people like that. Don't fuck them up. Like, for real. Just stop. Just ignore them. Just ignore them. Don't, like, just ignore them. But he's in the way. Yeah, in the way of me fucking your ass up. Just saying. Card number 33. You who show the way. The logical mind runs away from drowning. Lovers accept drowning in the sea as their destiny. The logical mind finds consolation in reaching a level of comfort in life. Lovers are focused beyond their own effort. I have looked to you in my darkest moments, searching for you as though fumbling for the candle and matches during an unexpected and interminable blackout. Interminable blackout. I am the ship at sea, seeking you as my guiding light. Nay, I am the sea, rising up to the horizon because I yearn to be closer to you. Then, oh, to my greatest relief, you rise like a phoenix from the ocean, casting hallowed golden light all around you. This great blazing angel of holy fire is what you are. In a sweet instant, my soul rests in your presence. The sea becomes calm, the darkness abates, your light reveals truth, and through your living presence, I know my true self again. Ooh, that was deep. That hit me differently today. Your light reveals truth, and through your living presence, I know my true self again. Just through you truly living and being present, allowing others to witness your presence as you live, as you work through these different cycles, different lessons and challenges, invitations to growth. They know the truth of who they are again. Ooh. I am what you are. Even when it appears I am returning after being lost in darkness, as though I could ever be extinguished, I am divine light. I am you, a living sun. Even in the unquenchable passion for service to humanity, to the world that offers you so much, there is a time when your most powerful offering is actually and most simply that of your presence. You show the way. You who inspire through how you choose to live and be. You who sometimes think yourself to be invisible. You who consider yourself to be of no particular or exceptional worth. Yes, you who through your choice to live your truth reveal my face, demonstrate my love, embody my presence, heal my beloveds, and love my creations. This oracle comes to you with a special message. You are an inspiration. You are helping those around you, and even many of whom you are unaware. You're doing this because this is your path. This is your way. This is your gift to live a life dedicated to the growth of consciousness, and through that dedication, inspire others to receive the loving consciousness of the great beloved that can benefit from so greatly, no matter what their situation or circumstance. You are not doing this through any effort or will. You are doing this because this is your nature, your being, your way. Just as the sun breaks through darkness with its own light, shining light with its presence by simply being, so too does your inner sun, your soul. You don't have to understand this or do anything with the information given, although you may find it of comfort or even be shocked by it, pleasantly perhaps. It's just an acknowledgement of who and what you are, given freely because you are ready to receive such acknowledgement. You're also being gifted through this oracle with a sign, a portent. This oracle is an omen, an issue too difficult for you to understand, no matter how hard you've been working on it, is about to be resolved. You have no need to hold on to it or become more worthy of that resolution. It's going to happen according to the grace of the great beloved, and your job is to allow it to happen, to simply bear witness to that resolution, even if you have no idea what's going on in the process. You may find that while you're listening and letting go, the resolution happens without you being aware of it until after the fact. Then apparently, all of a sudden, what was an issue is no longer an issue. You who help others are worthy. You're a worthy recipient of the help of the great beloved. Be prepared to surrender all plans and convictions about what can and cannot be, about what you think you know and what you think you need. Allow the benevolent grace of the beloved to take you through the great waves as the seas become calm and serene under the living divine light. This oracle brings the message that if you have a situation in your mind that feels impossible to resolve, the divine has it covered. Do the sacred honoring ritual and let it be sorted out by a greater power than your own. It shall be sorted out, and your sun shall rise. Just as day follows night again and again, so too shall your sun rise after any issue or struggle. Have faith and hope, and know that this is a sensible approach to any dilemma, no matter how serious it may seem. For what use is it to bemoan the absence of day, even on the longest night, when you know in every moment dawn is even closer to breaking once again? Your hope then is not foolish, but wise. And maybe it's time for us to recognize it's in the dark times we're being given the opportunity to rest, to stop walking for a period and just contemplate. One of the best places that I have found to really just think about myself, my journey, my life is in bed. Sometimes while I'm still awake, sometimes when I've already gone to sleep. Your life has a way of sorting itself out, especially when you choose to no longer interfere with the process as it's playing itself out. But Emmy, what about the guidance? What about if I miss the guidance to do something? When you're guided to do something, there's nothing in this world that can stop you from it. It's a fact. I was guided to live stream and be publicly visible. Then I was stranded in a parking lot. You need Wi-Fi to live stream. You need electric to live stream. I had that. There was nothing in this world that was going to stop me from live streaming, not even myself. And as I continued to live stream the things that were unnecessary for me and my growth, as I continued to play this role thinking that's what I was supposed to do, serve as a testament to something that I couldn't even understand for myself. Live stream after live stream, that ego-based shell that I put myself in to protect myself from people witnessing the gravity and the beauty of my vulnerability, my softness, my grace. Live stream by live stream, that was chipped away. Until one day I had a break in it. Full-on break. And some of you are still with me. Some of you who saw that as it happened. Where I sat on a park bench, live streaming. And Michael told me he intentionally broke my brakes to strand me. Because short of that type of suffering, short of that type of experience, I didn't even feel like I was suffering. That's what took so long. My perception did not allow me to think it was suffering, and that delayed my progress. I was comfortable. I was comfortable. Until he told me on that park bench, he broke my brakes to force me to be uncomfortable. And in that discomfort came my growth. You know, when a seed is planted, oftentimes it doesn't matter how you plant the seed. It will find the light. No matter how you plant that seed, the roots will go down deeper. And the stem of that seedling, it'll reach for the sun. No matter which way you're planted. Pretty much no matter what type of soil, you're the type of seed that can grow in any type of environment. Being planted. Here you are as a seed, knowing exactly which direction to go. You're afraid you'll go the wrong way. What's the wrong way exactly? If you can't explain to me what the wrong way is, how do you know it's the wrong way? This is a conversation I had with Michael because I was livid. I was livid. And here's the thing. I was livid because I didn't have the $700 to give to someone who was about to go homeless while I was stuck in a parking lot. I wasn't livid because I didn't have $700. I was livid that I didn't have the money to save someone else from experiencing what I was experiencing because I had no problem with what I was experiencing. I knew they would, though. And I was livid. And I was arguing with Michael in my head. Like, why would you do this? Why would you do this? Why would you put me in a situation like person is to suffer? Why did you have me leave Texas? I was perfectly fine there. Why would you have me leave Texas, go back to Colorado, just so you could strand me as soon as we cross state lines? Why would you do that? And I live it. I was livid. And it's in that sacred rage that I was able to finally burn enough of the clogging up of my ears to hear the actual truth. Like, why would you send me in the wrong direction? Now I can't leave Colorado. You need breaks to leave Colorado. And that's when he said, how do you know you're in the wrong direction if you don't know what way you're going? It's not about letting things be at all. It's not about letting things be. It's finding that happy medium with action and guidance, that center point between the two. Because when we just let things be, we're still not taking accountability for what's happening in our life. That sentiment of letting things be carries with it the insinuation that someone else is going to solve this because it's just happening to you. You're not a part of that. You're not co-creating that. I couldn't just let things be. Why? Because I needed to find a solution that would be viable. Viable for what? You mean like a job? I mean like a solution that would allow me to take care of the basic human needs that require money, of course, but also will afford me the ability to continue traveling and continue helping people that I come across. I couldn't just let that be. I had to go through my process to understand what that process is. And I had to consistently be shown different things to help me see life, my choices, causation, and effect in such a way that allows me to see with clarity. I'm going down the path I was designed to travel. Not designed by me, not designed by my parents, designed by my soul itself. Designed by my soul itself. And again, it's not trying to let things be, and it's not trying to pick your solution. You keep teeter-tottering one end to the other. The whole point of this is to understand that in my living, just the simple act of living, I was living the solution already. There was nothing that had to be picked. There was no like lineup of solutions. And which one looks good on that shelf? That one's a little bit, the shade is a little bit off that. Yeah, I don't really like the dimensions of that one. You could put it on the shelf. Let me see how it looks. It's not any of that. It's not any of that. I will say this again. At one point in ancient history, there were a group of high priests and priestesses that were tasked to transcribe the CDT plates that contains the entirety of the history of creation itself, not just Earth, not specific planetary systems, but everything in its totality. This specific group of high priests and priestesses were hidden underground to transcribe in secret. Unfortunately for Toth, he picked the wrong ones. They were implanted by the teams that correct and rebalance imbalances within creation. And a large portion of these spiritual truths that we use testaments to this or testaments to that and proof and confirmation and guidance, they intentionally distorted that and transcribed the opposing polarity. Which one is truth? Which one is a lie? You won't know till you live it. And when you live your life based on those teachings, if you live it long enough, you'll lose your ability, a natural born ability to discern the difference between the two. Can you still tell the difference? Can you actually hear what's being said? It's hard to hear other people if you keep talking, right? And that's something we need to be like aware of on a very cognitive level. When we are so preoccupied with like, when someone says something and it sounds good, and then we have to like, I did that. Yes, me. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. 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 Okay, what did I say? Well, but I'm agreeing. To what? What are you agreeing to? What are you agreeing with? Did you pause long enough to really hear, consider, digest, like, how does this apply to my life? Is this something from right now? Is this something from before? I kind of feel like it's this, this, and this, but there's a nuance to this. I need to sit with this for a moment and really just, like, what is this? It's something tangible, but I want to make sure it's accurate. I want to make sure, because I deserve certainty. I deserve that. I deserve to be able to have that moment where I can reassure myself, like, okay, I think I kind of understand that this is what my soul, not someone else, that my soul is communicating something to me right now. Many of us can't do that because we're so busy trying to play this role that we don't even get that we are just playing a role. Many of us are so busy focused on how other people have affected us, failing to understand those people are just being reactive to us. And then comes the topic of accountability. Like, no, I hold myself accountable. To what? To my life? What part of your life? Um, well, like the lessons that I'm working on. Okay, what are those lessons? Um, I read energy for a living. I read energy for a living. All my clairs are active. Share this space with me if you can listen and really hear. But if you're here to just get confirmation for what, I don't know, and there's no desire to question, there's no previous guidance that's being confirmed from your soul, not from another practitioner. I'm talking about from your soul. There's a high likelihood you're going to hurt your feelings being around me. That's kind of just how it is. Not because I'm intending to, but because I speak so much depth of truth. It's probably going to hurt you down to your belly. Like, oh my God, is she talking to me? Is she singling me out? No, this is a general reading. I'm pretty sure you're resonating to some degree with something that you don't want to hear. And that's what needs to be worked on. Your lack of ability, not hearing. My husband does birds. I know. What do you know? What you were going to say? What were I going to say? Weren't you talking about? No, I wasn't. But no, I wasn't talking about that. That's not what I was going to say. Oh, well, what were you going to say? Well, you already knew, right? So you tell me. What was I going to say? Well, I didn't actually know. Okay, good. Now we're both on the same page. Now we both are aware we lack the ability to properly communicate in this moment. That kind of shit irks the absolute shit out of me. It irks the absolute shit out of me personally. Like, luckily, he doesn't do that anymore because I'm just like, what was I going to say? And he's like, why are you so serious? Because tell me what the fuck I was going to say. No one really knows what you're going to say until you actually say it. And even then, when they hear it, are they actually hearing you? And even if they actually hear you, do they understand the history that you've lived through? So they better understand what you're actually communicating. Do they have to understand? Do you need that? Or is this just a moment of realization of so many different things so that we can kind of pause, question, reassess who we are, where we're at within our lives, where we might want to consider going towards? If you're too busy talking, you're probably too busy to actually ask yourself these important questions. And guys, whatever it was that made you think that it would validate you if you agree with me, lied to you. I am a flawed human being just like all the other humans. My logic and my perception is based on the traumas and the distortions those traumas have caused through an entire lifetime. I don't have any more answers than the next person. So if you're going to choose to exist in such a way where, because you can agree with me, you are now valid, you are now validated, I'm here to love you to the degree where I'm going to tell you right here, right now, you are wrong. If you cannot find validation in the pause and the true assessment of where you are and who you are right now, who you are becoming through your life, there's an issue there. And you don't have to understand everything, you don't have to know everything, but you have to love yourself enough to pause and find that communication from soul inside you. I've said in the past, these live streams are intended to serve as confirmation for the communication from soul. That has to have been a communication before the live stream. You can't confirm a conversation that didn't occur yet. But Emmie, I don't hear my soul. You talk to yourself? It's either a mimic or your soul. Oh, you mean that voice? I mean, that's me talking to myself. Who argues with himself? I mean, the term higher self. Did you think it'd have a different voice? If it's you, but on a higher plane of dimensional consciousness, would it not have the same voice you identify as yours in this lifetime? But then we allow people who maybe they need the sales, maybe sessions with people boost their ego. Who knows? I don't need to know. But when we listen to people who validate the distortions, that's going to really complicate your journey. Because someone else told you what you wanted to hear. I mean, y'all, let me state a fact. I know how to play the role. I've done it most of my life. I know how to be palatable to the masses. I've done that most of my life. I know what boxes to stay within. I know what types of characteristics people like. I know how to play roles. Do I? No, you kind of just gonna get what you're gonna get. If I'm in a funky ass mood, I'm gonna probably be salty. I will apologize for any rude shit that I say, but I'm probably gonna be salty. I'm just gonna be who I am at this point. But here's the thing, The point I'm trying to get at, if I really focus on making money, my gifts are highly developed. It is not hard for me to know what you want to hear. If I can hear people and their thoughts while I'm live streaming, I can absolutely hear your thoughts if I wanted to when it's a one on one. So, what does this tell me? Thank God I operate with integrity. Because if I can do that and know what you want to hear, I can tell you what you want to hear and sell you more services. Bada bing, bada boom, I got you for life. There's people out there like that. I don't happen to be one of those. I'm the kind of person like, look, I don't know that I can help you. Like, I've tried several times and it's just really, there's no progress. Like, I can't just keep taking your money if I don't think I can actually help you. Like, there's plenty of other people. Oh my God, Emmie, are you rejecting me? No, I'm telling you the truth. Like, I don't want to just take your money if I can't actually help you in the way that I'm trying to help you. If I can't empower you, like, that's bullshit for me to accept your session. So I'm going to refund you. If I can't do your session, I'm going to refund you. Like, so you're telling me that that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. There's no need for you to sit in a queue for several months just so I can keep your money. Like, that's not how I operate. Whenever there's a need, it will be provided for. That's what I believe. I'm not hell bent on making money, but there are a lot of people who are. Is that who you're listening to? People who don't want to hurt your feelings because, I mean, you got to keep you as a client. I'm really not tripping, boo. I'm really not tripping. I'm really not tripping. I've had someone who needed an extraction and then it was a raging situation and they're like, "Oh, my girlfriend's really powerful and like she can do it for free. Well, go to your girlfriend." I'm not tripping. Go to your girlfriend. What's that to me? Go to your girlfriend if that's who you think can help you. I have so many other people that I'm trying to fit into every single one of my days that I'm like, I ain't going to waste your time. I'm very efficient. I'm not going to waste their time. If you feel like it doesn't resonate, bless you. Find someone who does. I got to focus on what I need to do, not trying to sell products, not trying to play you. Not, no, I'm good off all that shit. I'm so good off all that shit. Why do I never need to worry about people talking shit about my integrity? Because I never, ever, ever fucking conduct myself with any diminished level of integrity. Ever. 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 And that's me. That's me. How long did it take me to have to get to this point? My entire lifetime up to this point. And what about the next point? How long will that take me? My entire lifetime up till that point. And the next point, and the next point, and the next point, until it's the entire lifetime period. And all of those things will require my interactions with others and my introspection with myself, holding everything accountable. And we need to be careful of creating some sort of stigma with accountability because I'm feeling that going that way, where it's like, I have to hold you accountable, meaning it's your fault. That's a spiritual way to say it's your fault. When you hold someone accountable, it doesn't really have anything to do with you telling them, this is what you did to me. It has way more to do with you being able to pause. Okay, what did I do to initiate this, to allow the initiation? What was their part? as we co-created this. Okay, that's what you're accountable for. This is what I'm accountable for. Okay, so now I know, like, when that type of behavior, that type of energy, I'm going to shift here. I'm not going to allow that. I'm going to recognize that for what it is. And there's not going to be that coming together, meaning that plus adding it together and creating this nexus of like toxicity. And we cannot reduce this to a more simpler concept of, oh, but I am blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. I don't care if it sounds good. Oftentimes, if that sounds good, bullshit. That's the reality of it. Human being minds, the minds of humans, are programmed to be drawn to things that sound good. And like I said, things that sound good oftentimes are not good. So you have to allow yourself to take it in, process it, and see where it sits with you. Yeah, the spiritual community is the new hustle. That started a few years back. And I got excommunicated from the spiritual community because I was like, fuck you. I don't give a shit how fucking big your audience is. Fuck you. You're full of fucking shit. I'm not going to fucking do what you say. So I got excommunicated. Yeah, that's how that went. That's how that went. Because when I finally paused to allow myself to digest, mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-hmm. No, no, baby boo. I don't give a shit how big your audience is. Uh-uh. I'm not participating in no more shit. And that's me holding myself accountable. I'm realizing, oh shit, I fed into this. I need to get right with myself again. And it's about getting right with yourself, getting centered within your truth. I got to get going, guys. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live. I should be going live later on this evening. I don't know if I'm going to be doing expedites or if I'm going to auction some of my crystals. I don't know. I was struggling with stuff. It's okay. It's okay. We go through our processes. We have our awkward moments. We have to love ourselves in a way where we can honor every part of our journey as we're going through it, no matter what it is. I've been awkward the past few days. I can feel it. It's hard for me to talk. It's hard for me to communicate. I'm joking around way more, and I use humor as a mask. There's a lot of internal type of stuff that's being dredged up. And it's not necessarily trauma. It's just a need to finally begin processing these aspects. And it's caused me to be a little bit awkward, a little bit more confrontational. That's kind of just where I'm at. I promise I won't stay there. And I also want to thank you guys for respecting and honoring that that's where I'm at right now. Understanding without me having to ask you to understand, where you can just hold space for me and be like, she a little extra salty. It's probably some stuff going on. It's good though. It's good. She's gonna bounce back from this. She's gonna come through this again. Because she always does. And I always do. I always find myself heading back to center. You guys are not expected to be perfect the way society defines perfection. That's why I'm sharing this with you. I'm perfect right now in my realizations and acknowledgments and acceptance of where I'm at in my journey. It's a little bit salty. It stings a little bit. It's a little bit more confrontational. But is it unnecessarily mean? No, it's a little more harsh. It's not necessarily a nice thing to be more harsh. Sometimes it's not necessary. And sometimes you can't help but just communicate in whatever way you can communicate before the message is lost. And some would say, well, if it's lost, if that thought is lost and it really wasn't important, because whatever's important, you'll remember again. Well, maybe it's not about lack of importance and more about that avoidance game is strong, baby boo. That avoidance game is strong for all of us. And it's okay. Because at some point, we'll get tired of playing. Then we'll become real. Right? Then we'll become real. So I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. I will make an announcement in a little bit about what type of live stream I'll do later today. And you guys, we're going to be really starting that Empty Cup Radar podcast. We're going to have a whole bunch of different options. Obviously, free podcasts. Obviously, also a subscription with different tiers. Please, guys, in the comments, when this video is done, come back, comment, and let us know. What type of tiers would you guys like? Should we involve live meditation session with me, like X amount of times a month? Should we involve like one activation every month or something like that? I want your guys' input. What type of budgets can you guys easily, comfortably accommodate? And you guys know the value of my work. I want to hear from you guys. What do you want? How can I support you through your membership with the podcast? And of course, Mr. Chidi over there, he's my co host. What kind of questions do you want him to ask me? What kind of topics do you want us to explore together? You know, this is a very, very powerful opportunity for you guys to begin really receiving in life, in real life presentations of the very things that you feel so lost on because no one else is talking about it. And y'all know I'm not scared to talk about Nathan. Nathan. So take advantage of this. Use it as an opportunity for you to really get that type of support. Now, these talks can easily be used as like life coaching. Obviously, it's not going to be personalized to you. But I'd like to believe you understand you are intelligent enough to pick and choose the information we share on these podcasts and know how to apply it to your life, to coach yourself, to empower yourself. This is a huge project. It's a huge project. So let me or Chidi know, put in the comments. Put in the comments of this video, put in the comments of the Empty Cup Radar first episode. You know, we're exploring so many different options right now, and we want to make sure the options we consider as priorities are the options that come from you guys. So, got to get going. I will see you guys later today. Bye, everyone.